Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I'm Aaron Loomis, coming to you from the Ventura Cigar Company studio, and with me, as almost always, is Jiunn Liu. How you doing, Jiunn?
Good man, almost Friday.
That's right. So today we are talking about the MBombay Classic Torpedo. The cigar is 6-inch by 52 ring gauge, comes out of the Tobacos de Costa Rica factory in Costa Rica. Wrapper is from Ecuador, as is the binder. The filler is from Peru, Dominican Republic, and Nicaragua. It is blended by Mel Shaw. The price point is $11.95, and the cigar was released in January of 2018. So with all that out of the way, June, what was your smoking experience like?
Um, the first couple of thirds I thought was kind of average. It kind of wavers back and forth between like just like a almost like a generic kind of a profile, giving me like a sharper black pepper, dry wood effect, um, and there's some like cream breadiness and nuts coming through. But it was basically I kind of felt like it was pretty generic in that sense.
Mhm.
Within the last third, I found that it gave me more consistency in the flavor profile because basically the first couple of thirds, it kind of went from, well, I kind of taste these things. It kind of comes and goes. But when the last third, I kind of felt like the profile settled down for me, and it was more consistent for me. There wasn't any of this like back and forth and like uh, being less complex and kind of a little mundane as well. I got less of the black pepper backing off, and then I got more increase in like nuttiness, cream bread, sort of mineral sort of showing up. Overall, still giving me that medium strength, medium body kind of a format. So, that's kind of overall what I had within the flavor profile. Within the construction, though, I thought it was really, really good. I rated the burn very good. Um, Even burn, inch and a half ash marks. The cigar never heated up. Um, the draw was perfect. The perfect flow of air and giving me that ideal resistance as well. So overall, I thought it was kind of an average experience for the flavors.
Yeah, for me, it kind of brought a mix of like slightly toasted oak along with some red pepper spice. A little further in, some cream started to join into that mix. Um, about 3/4 of an inch in, kind of gained like a light meatiness to go along with that toasted oak and with the cream and the red pepper notes for being very faint in the background. An inch or so in, that cream completely dropped out. The red pepper was building back up, mixing with that toasty oak and that light meatiness. Meatiness kind of drops out as the thirds come into a close. And the retrohale had kind of like that toasted oak note along with a little bit of earthiness to it. And I thought the first third is fairly mild in strength. Getting the second third, toasted oak still kind of up front, a little bit of cream behind that. The red pepper started to transition to more of a mild black pepper. And then a little further in, little very faint meatiness was still detectable there. A little further in, toasted oak transitioned to kind of like a slightly bright pine note. Still a little bit of the creamy and meaty notes mixed in there. Retrohale was kind of carrying a mellower version of that slightly bright pine. A little further in, the pine wasn't quite as full as it was earlier. And as the second third kind of comes to a close, kind of moved back to that toasted oak note, and strength did bump up to mild medium. Final third, oak kind of really returned. The pine note was kind of cohabitating with that, so it's kind of an interesting complexity there. A little bit of nuttiness kind of joins in as well. Some cream and some slight bitterness, kind of faint in the background. But then the oak took over from the pine note, so the pine was completely leaving the profile about half an inch in or so. At an inch in, oak kind of gained a little bit of warmth as the cigar started to heat up a little bit. The cream was remaining in the background, and the final third ended up strength right at the medium mark. In regards to construction, I thought the burn was perfect. I mean, it was sharp the entire way. Ash held on through each third, so I had no issues with that at all. In regards to the draw, it was slightly tighter than I prefer, but didn't really cause any issues for me. So overall, what were your thoughts on this one?
Overall, so overall, I kind of categorize MBombay cigars in one or two buckets. So like the first bucket, which is like the ideal bucket, is like what I typically get at MBombay. It's like a medium minus to medium body profile, delivering like A lot of nuance, a lot of complexities, and there's nothing that's gonna jump out at you, but everything just kind of like works in like a very like a good aged cigar in a very harmonious kind of fashion. The second bucket is the same kind of medium minus to medium body profile that kind of tastes like past its prime, where it's like too aged and it's kind of uneventful. So, like it's almost like when you have a aged Cuban cigar that is so aged out that it doesn't really give you anything anymore.
Right.
So I kind of taste MBombay cigars in one or two of those buckets. And in this case, unfortunately, there's a latter bucket where I kind of felt like there wasn't much going on. It was kind of like a one note, like couple notes, kind of a wonder, and that was the kind of experience that I had. But as expected, it gave me really good construction, like all the other ones do.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought the first third provided a ton of complexity, and then the second third was odd because it was so different than the first third, and I thought it was just kind of average. But then kind of things picked up in that final third, and it was a little bit better than that middle third was. I mean, like you said, you typically think of good cigars coming from M Bombay, whether it's too far on the kind of the mild and the aged side, or if it's really flavorful, but you still get those aged notes. I've always come to expect pretty good cigars from M Bombay. I don't think this brings that kind of aged wood note that's like the Gaia has or things like that, but it still has an interesting profile. It's pretty unique. As most of the cigars from MBombay, they're on the higher price side, so you have to kind of take that into consideration. But if you get, depending on how, whose palate you kind of line up with, I got a fairly good amount of flavor out of it. But if you're looking for something that's got flavor but a really mild strength level, this might be something that you'd be interested in. So that's kind of where I kind of lean on in regards to, how I would kind of categorize it. In regards to the scores, you gave it a 6 even. I gave it a 7.02. How do you think you're matched up with your experience?
It matched pretty well. I mean, overall, the flavors, I thought it was average. I rated the construction to be really good, like almost perfect, as a matter of fact. So, kind of look at both of them, combine it together, like low sixes, even upper fives sounds reasonable.
Yeah, I think my matches up well. I mean, I thought the first third was really good. Second third kind of just went down to average, and final third kind of came back a little bit. And construction was fantastic, so that's kind of where it goes. I mean, if the second third would have kind of kept up what the first third was doing, this would have scored really, really well for me. So, but I'm interested in smoking more just to kind of get a feel for it. To see, it seems like we had very, very different experiences. So kind of see what the how the cigar shakes out with some more smoke under our belt. So, any other final thoughts from you on this one?
No.
All right. If you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us, but also check out the full written review on the website at elegantpalates.com. Be sure to follow us on all the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Google+. And you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts, so iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.